So with that being said, gentlemen, welcome to the next episode, because that's how we like to do this, where we talk
We
about
lost.
things.
We lost count like at the 21 or something. We're looking at 30 about now.
Yeah, we're on like episode 32.
Yeah.
Really? Wow,
It,
I feel like I've been around for like 2 of those episodes.
Dude,
to
like,
be fair, you've been busy.
yeah, you've been hella busy.
Yeah.
You know, I think the last time you was on was like we was talking about Worlds last year.
I
Yeah.
think you were. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're actually just talking about an MSI's on right now.
Oh man, honestly, I've been paying attention to it, and I've been like very surprised by like PSG talent. By
Mhm.
their
I was actually just saying to Gravy, it's nice to see a minor region in the top 4 teams.
And I
Yeah.
told him he said NA wrong, but go ahead.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
yeah, because like it reminded me of Abaslax Lunas World Run, all those, like it reminded me of that, because
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised to see a region that doesn't get a lot of attention, get that far,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
And the
yeah,
I was just gonna say, and the fact that PSG Talon had to play with a substitute player as well. I think it was Doggo. That they had to loan a player from a completely different team, so that they were coming into this tournament and not having obviously the best synergy with the team simply because of health issues. The fact that they got top 4 is really good.
Mhm. Yeah, I was disappointed by UOL's performance though. That was.
I would wanted to see the Kassadin played a little bit more. We saw what he could do at Worlds. I think is it No Man's that pilots the
No Man's.
No Man's that pilots that Kassadin. We saw what he could do on that Kassadin, and I mean we got to see it once or twice during MSI, but it just didn't feel like the same Kassadin player,
Yeah, well, the biggest thing, because again, I still mod for that Discord. A lot of the big complaints were it just feels like we're drafting like 2 patches back instead of what the current situation is, which I get. Sometimes it's like you just don't have that information and you can't make the educated decision on it. But I mean, now that UOL and a lot of the other minor regions have had international experience as of, well, MSI, like I'm very curious how Worlds is gonna stack.
Yeah, very true though. Because I know with EU especially, I mean, like didn't say this is the first MSI that Fnatic or G2 never didn't attend this year, which is interesting. And then I was expecting more from Cloud9 because they were doing very well in the playoffs, in the LCS playoffs. But that game against, I think it was Damwon or RNG, I forgot which one was it. I could tell it because they did get a win against both teams, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was Damwon. I was very impressed with Vulcan's support play because I'm a support main, and in the way that he was confidently like setting up plays and peeling for like Perks or Blabber, really surprised me because I take notes for support players. But goddamn Fudge, Jesus Christ, that man was going off, man. Because I remember I was watching, I'm like, Lee Sin top. When did this become a thing, right? I was surprised because.
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, because like Lee Sin doesn't really have a lot to his kit early game. Around mid game is when he starts to come online. So when I was watching Fudge basically just going in like a 2v like into like a whole crowd of people and just like beat. I think one play that I think he deserved MVP of the game was when he navigated through the team fight, flashed, and then ulted Xayah into the middle of the whole team fight, which was like fucking hell, man, that was amazing. Because I tried Lee Sin jungle, and oh my god, I was trash at it. It was horrible.
You would be surprised
Yeah.
at how many people that I've coached
Mhm.
who are Lee Sin one tricks, and the same thing. I don't understand. This champion's so busted. Why can't this work? What the fuck, Riot? And then I explained to them that Lee Sin is out of your skill cap, bro.
Yeah.
I've only ever met one Lee Sin player in my entire time playing League that was actually good. And I think I've lost count. Damn it. I had the number in my head.
Yeah.
Come on, fucker, work! Anyway, go on.
And that's the thing with Lee Sin, right? As a champion, as you were saying, Gravy, is that he does have a very high skill ceiling. Like, you need to be able. It's like, yeah, it's okay understanding what Lee Sin's abilities do, but being able to pull off the combos like the flash insec or the ward hop insec, you know, they're very mechanical and technical combos to be able to pull off, and not a lot of people can pull them off.
No, and that's why, like, with what Riot has done over the years is putting a difficulty meter on a lot of these champions. Yeah. And I think that's what people don't understand, is because they watch these pros and they're like, oh dude, fucking I have MSI on my other screen, so I'm trying to think of one. Fucking Udyr. Yeah, I'll play Udyr. He looks just fucking busted. Yeah. And it's like, okay, but can you stance? Do you understand what each of his forms does?
Yeah.
And
honestly, on the flip side, we see champs like Pyke. Like, Pyke is scary, and bronze and silver. He's fucking scary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Because I've like, the only pick I can play against him is like Alistar or Nautilus, because Pyke is, because like, people don't understand that Pyke, he engages very hard. He reminds me of Leona with his engage. And if you're not prepared for that, he will, especially when it comes to the jungle rotations. What Pyke is very frightening. So that's why I started paying more attention to when Riot announces nerfs, because now with nerfs and buff, because now what they do is, like, they have, okay, we're gonna buff this champ and this champ, and you have like a little bar at the bottom, so it's gonna affect this level of ranked play. So I pay more attention to that.
Yeah.
Now over MSI, I'm gonna say the scariest player I've ever watched was Showmaker. That man scares the hell out of me, man. He has no fear when it comes to team fights. Like, and I, and that shows the region. I think that shows every region's, like, level of, like, I don't want to say practice. I don't want to say dedication either. It's more like application to play styles, because I've noticed that when it comes to Asian regions, they're kind of like, they're more methodical, they're more methodical compared to Western regions, because you have teams like G2 that basically just kind of rush in, test something out, doesn't work, go out to the drawing board. Then you have C9 who plays slow early, then it gets more aggressive as time progresses. Doing games. So that's why I was like, I have a VPN, so I'm very tempted to say fuck it and get a fucking like a Korean account or like a Japanese account, because I really feel the LJL, that's the region's name. I forgot. I really feel like they're kind of like on the rise, but people are not paying attention to it.
But they won't, though, for like a couple more seasons, because
it's a very slow progression. So
I mean, look at how long it took them to look at LCL with all of those teams. what's going to be interesting going into the new split, though, for LCL is Gambit is no more. So,
Yeah.
and in a lot of the seasons leading up to that, it was either Gambit and UOL, and they kind of alternated. But now that Gambit's kind of, I'm very, very curious as to how that's going to play out.
The next one to look at as a complete region, though, is going to be the Oceanic region, because if I remember correctly, they now don't have an official league no more, do they?
Nope.
So that's going to be interesting coming into, as you were saying, next split and Worlds. And because they don't have that official league, yes, it means that they probably have more time to play like kind of minor tournaments. They might have a better understanding of what's being played on as each patch gets rolled out. But I genuinely like Pentanet in MSI. They played fairly well, but you can see the fact that not having an official league is hurting this region.
Yeah, I honestly thought there was going to be more of an influx of Oceanic players, honestly, because of, Oceania essentially being shut down, but I only saw a small percentage, which was interesting.
Yeah, and something that I want to go back to just last year is when the team, obviously formerly known as Origin, now known as Astralis, had picked up Destiny as their starting support player. I thought Destiny was a very good support player. I feel like he didn't almost quite fit into the team, but then again, I feel like the team didn't kind of play around Destiny as their kind of supporting gauge. Now, I do understand that Destiny has moved over to NA now. If I remember correctly, I'm not sure what team he's on.
Let me check.
To the Google machine.
Yes, to the Google machine. I'm sure he moved over to NA.
I think so, because I did see an announcement on Twitter not too long ago. He's on Immortals.
There you go. Yeah, I knew that he'd moved over. Like, Immortals obviously controversially taking I say controversially, buying out the Optic Gaming slot just for the LCS spot. So it's I obviously as a European don't watch too much North American League of Legends, but I will do when I get the chance. I've not been able to see Destiny play, but I feel like the Oceanic players are very good if they get the chance to be able to play as well as they can.
Yeah, like they're hungrier. They want to prove themselves more,
Exactly.
as opposed to like a lot of the NA players. And this was my biggest problem when Perks came over, is I was like, man, I really hope he doesn't drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and become complacent, because yeah.
And that was the problem that I saw. So coming into this spring split that there's obviously just ended. I did make it a possibility that I would be able to watch some of the North American games, mainly because I wanted to track just to see how Perks would fit into the C9 roster, with Sven, Fudge, Vulcan, and Blabber. Thank you. Because it's not just a team change, but it's a lifestyle change. And obviously this is something that I've spoken about before in a previous episode, stating that the weather kind of determines on how teams are practicing, how teams are playing, and how teams are interacting with each other outside of the game as well. And I'll be honest, I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed by Perks' playstyle. I think the first game that I saw and the first game that he played on stage was that Yone, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And at a point in me, I was thinking, okay, well, this is just your casual Perks stuff, which is what obviously I was used to seeing in G2. But what Perks has to remember is that he's now not playing in G2. He's playing for Cloud9, and it's gonna have a completely different playstyle. And I feel that this is possibly what took Perks off guard, was simply because the playstyles between EU and NA, whilst both being Western regions, the playstyle is just completely different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's why I think, like, honestly, with the top 3 regions that I think are going to be fun to watch coming into Worlds are going to be EU, Korea, and LPL. And Jesus Christ, Matt is taking fights left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Yay, my ADHD. Sorry.
Something that I did want to bring up about is something that Jay mentioned not too long ago, was stating that obviously this is the first MSI tournament for quite some time that we haven't seen G2, we haven't seen Fnatic in the tournament, and to me it was very surprising when Mad did beat G2. I don't think G2 looked weak at all, and I have spoken to several friends about this as well. Is coming into the spring split, I feel that G2 just didn't have a good handle on what was the meta right now, and I felt like that they did what G2 do best, and throw games when they don't need to.
Their pitching arm is strong.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like G2 definitely could have been at the MSI tournament this split, and if Sejuani doesn't get a nerf after this 11.10 patch, Jankos is gonna be back on Sedge duty, because she is super strong right now as a Sejuani jungle player, which is my off role. Sejuani is strong. Like, the change to her E, that permafrost ability, is interesting. I'm not entirely sure why they changed it, because it doesn't feel like it has been changed.
No, I think that's kind of one of those errors, because it's like, it's so weird having to nerf champion stats but still have like item stats that are like up here in ridiculousness, because there's some patches where I've seen like a lot of pros go, oh my god, this is so detrimental, but you still see them being played but with specific item changes, and it's like question.
Yeah. And the thing about Sejuani's change to her E is that Riot are trying to kind of streamline all like the base stats, and make everything kind of flat numbers. So it made it very interesting when I began reading the 11.10 patch notes and saw the massive change to Sejuani's ability.
Right.
Because I believe it used to be that it was a case that it was a flat 2,500 units, if she was able to stun somebody. But now they've made it super complicated. So it now will reach the first 50 meters if it's hitting like a minion or a champion. Just a minion or like a camp. But if there's nobody around her, then her E will go to the furthest unit away within the 2,500 units. It's such a really weird change, and I don't understand why they've done it.
Yeah, I just was pulling up the patch notes while you were talking about it, and it's 350, to be more specific. Then closest unit to cursor within 2,500. This only applies if there's no target directly under your cursor. Yeah, it's a very strange change.
Yeah, we so before I learned how to pick up Zac and started dominating in my jungle games as playing Zac, I used to be an advocate for a Mumu and Sejuani jungle.
Right.
I had a better win rate on Sejuani than I did on a Mumu, but there was nothing in Sejuani's kit that I felt was overpowered. I felt that it was all quite fine. I don't think she felt like she needed a change. And the first game on, when I first realized about this change to her ability, it didn't feel any different. It didn't feel any different at all. So I don't understand why they've put all this excessive ruling into her permafrost.
Yeah, because I think
it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, because I think when she had her rework in general, like her permafrost was really good. Really good. Like it was almost the equivalent, I think, of a Doran shield, if I remember correctly. I think that's what it was. Yeah, I think it's what it was at start.
I think I must have picked up Sejuani after the rework.
Yeah.
I don't remember too much about original Sejuani.
Yeah. Holy shit, Matt just won.
What?
Really?
Sorry, I've not got it up on my second monitor. But there's a lot of, like, all the casters and all the analysts were saying that this is a 3-1 fight to Damwon, obviously with them being the reigning champions.
I mean, unless Khan can 2v1 right now. Nope, he died.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah,
damn, they might actually do it. Yeah. So anybody who's watching this episode, there's going to be intermittent breaks of us going, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be the first one to admit that I am not a fan of Mad. I feel that they are too immature for. Like they have every right to be playing internationally, because they are a good team, and I won't deny them the fact that they're not a good team, right? But the way, like, they remind me of a little bit like a G2. Like, I like G2's playstyle, I do, and I do like Mad's playstyle, but there's something about both teams off the Rift that I don't like. So I like G2's play, but I don't like them when they're throwing their games. And it's something that we see across most major regions. And again, I'm sorry. But it's, you know, it's more across EU, Korea and China, is that I'll watch best of 3 series, and there will be games where, say for example, a Chinese team will most dominantly run through the first game and absolutely steamroll their opponents, and then into the second game you'll notice them then ban their own champions that they steamrolled through in the first game, and you're thinking to yourself, well, why? You know this works, why are you banning it? And then the next thing you see is that game 2 that the opposite team won, and you start to think to yourself, it's like, why did this second team win? And it comes down to the case that it's got to be a case that these teams are throwing. Now, there has been a recent scandal, I think it was over in China, where I think it was a team has recently just been fined for win trading.
Ugh.
I don't know who it is, but I'm sure I read that the game has been that there has been an Asian team, whether it's a Korean team, whether it was a Chinese team, I'm not sure. I know it was an Eastern region, but there was a team that was fined for win trading.
Jesus. And see that, sorry, I get tilted with that because second to last tournament I was ever in for a league, I dropped out because there was win trading that was going on. Yeah. I'm not gonna say which one, but when I looked into the Discord, there was like 5 or 6 tickets of people going like, hey, these people are doing this.
Yeah.
And they kind of just went like, what?
Yeah.
You know, so I was a little miffed on that, but one of the big things, at least from experience, is with games or with a best of series, a lot of it is going to have to do with the prep and the game plan, you know, because you see a lot of times, like, you'll have the coaches and the analysts, they should have a plan as time goes into it. One of the things, one of my buddies who's used to, I guess you could say he was semi-pro, because he was on Supernova for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the things he said is your coach is going to tell you how to beat the game. Your analyst is going to tell you how to beat the game with what?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you see some of these teams to where they're almost afraid of their own power, like you were saying, you know, just the banning their own champions, or, you know, like just kind of shooting themselves in the foot. It, you know, it makes you think like, what is, holy shit, yeah, they just did win. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of makes you think like, what is their prep? You know, like, are they thinking, oh, we're gonna show how multifaceted we are, and we could play this style, and we could play this style, and it's like, y'all, let's take a second and let's break this down. Let's unpack this.
Yeah.
You know, like, a few of the games I can recall specifically was like, I was playing jungle, and there was a plan that the coach said, look, camp bot with this comp, we'll win. Easy peasy. Yeah. I didn't do it because I panicked. And I ended up trying to help out the top lane because he would not shut the fuck up. Oh my god, Gravy, help me top. They're camping me. And we kept saying, dude, just play back. But I could play back. It's fine. And so we lost that, and it was 100% like my fault because I gave into it, and I'm like, okay, no, you're right. But yeah, it's just, I think a lot of it, again, is just prep. It's just, you know, coaches telling their players, like, look, no, this is what you need to do. This is the game plan. This is how we're gonna win. And, like, I understand there's a degree of adaptability that has to go into each game. But, yeah. I really have a feeling some of these teams, the players just go like, no, we're just gonna do this, you know, just stand there and look pretty. Don't worry about it. Because I've seen some solo queue comps to end solo queue comps.
I feel like it was a more recent story. Sorry, I'm just trying to look up this this article that I found not too long ago about the win trading, and I've seen one dated back in 2020 for where the team was fined at more than $400,000 for win trading, and I can't see the article again, but I'm sure it was fairly recent that there was another scandal of win trading over in the eastern regions.
Yeah, who was the team? And this is going to be separate from League, but who was the team? I think it was in Call of Duty. They just got fined because their player flipped off the camera.
That was Dallas Empire with a player called Crimson, basically a long-time player. Now, to give you some context, the Call of Duty League CDL, is basically been a shit show. It's basically a step higher than Overwatch League. That's how bad it's gotten. Because you know, because like there were times where during matches, the game will crash on you, and then you know, or it'll kind of lag out, and then the people who will observe it will kind of make like bullshit calls on the fly, and it didn't really work out for the best, right? And plus, you know, there was so many roster changes that's gone, you know, because you do roster changes like clockwork, you know, and it always boggles my mind when people do that, you know, and also with the CDL, it's like you know, because like Activision expected it to be a better version of the Call of Duty World League, but it's not, you know. You know,
I was gonna say we should be well on the same page that Blizzard and Activision is kind of like oil and water.
You know, you know, and even with the game itself, you know, the game itself still has bugs. You know, and plus it's plus like they have complaints that it's like the guns aren't really made well, and complaints like that. So you know, cause it really seemed like Call of Duty just making games just for the pros team. It's not really for the fans anymore, you know. So yes, honestly, that's not the first time it's happened either. That's like the fourth time it's happened. So you know, somebody's gotten fined for doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know? You know, and plus there's a player called Zuma. He's taking hiatus due to injury, right? And he said that the main problem with the Call of Duty pros is that the overheated egos, you know, you know, because that goes back to the roster changes, because they feel that if you're not doing well, you're gonna get replaced at the end of a major or whatever, right? Because Dallas, you know, people saying, they got rid of their best player to go to Nadeshot's team, and they picked up this kid from the semi-pro scene, and normally Dallas is a good team, but they got knocked out like early in the major, right? So that's what's saying about the whole inflated ego thing, because it's like you know, because like a lot of these pro think, you know, see, here's the thing. They act like old people. It's like, yeah, I was good doing this game, but you're trash at this one. So I mean, what are you doing, right?
My brain went like, what do you mean by old people?
You know exactly what I mean.
I know. I don't know why that was my first instinctive reaction to be like, what do you mean old people, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like, and that's I always hate it. It's like, yeah, I was good doing this time, but I'm trash now. Yeah, you're trash now. You know, you're not as good as you used to be. You know.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why a lot of these pros from all the way from back from Call of Duty 4 is still playing, because of you know, well, I won this many titles like 5 years ago. Like that doesn't correlate to now. You know, and that's the reason why the amateur and semi-pro scene is struggling as it is, because a lot of these pros are threatened. They're very threatened. They're very insecure about their place on a pro team. You know, because if you look up a profile called The Lion Man, what he does is that he does like trading cards. You know, basically kind of show a person's performance, right? And I'll tag his I'll put his Twitter. Because he does, you know, because like the way he does it is that he worked for the team that basically kind of help him with stats, right? And it gives you a really good idea on how they played in the major, right? So with this like I just showed you is basically all the cards he's made, right? And he does it so well. I'm gonna say here while he does it. He does it so well. His trading cards resulted in a player getting dropped.
No shit.
That's how well he does it. That's how good it is. You know. yeah, so that link, it basically that link I just put in the chat. That's all the trading card he's done for the major this past, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, and it was this major, and a person got dropped because of the stats that was shown.
Mm-hmm.
And so we look at that. It goes to show you that a lot of these pros in your late 20s, early 30s, they're very insecure because like Bill always says, esports doesn't make money.
Yeah, I
You know?
mean, insecure like our favorite Optic owner deciding that he wanted to talk shit.
Oh my god! Okay.
Did you hear about that one, Till?
No.
That one, like I lost so much respect for that day because like look, because honestly I'm kind of glad I didn't say this, but I was like that's pretty funny coming from a guy who got hoodwinked out of giving the ownership of his own organization.
Mm-hmm.
Like even FaZe haven't done that, right? And it's like and it was like yeah, look, I get it, I get it, like you lost the rights to your organization, and that sucks, especially for a very old school organization like Optic, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that but the fact that one, you overreacted to a meme when you lost at the previous major to Minnesota, they like all right, fine. I'm gonna tell you how this happened, right? So it was Optic versus Minnesota doing I think it was a quarterfinals of it, right? And doing a search and destroy.
I've seen the clips of this.
You seen it? Okay.
Yeah,
so
I've seen this.
Yeah, so basically Minnesota's social media team was like, we're witnessing a breakdown right now, right? Basically, kind of showing the cams of the Optic players, right?
Yeah.
Now, Hex got so upset about that. Not only he responded to it, he quote retweeted it, and he made a video about it. And it was like, the fuck, like this is the Hex that I remember. Like you getting a little sensitive about this, right? Then and then I think like some guy, I think he's on 100 Thieves now. He used to be in Optic when Immortals Gaming Club used to own Optic at the time.
Yeah.
Because he had, because what a lot of people do, like a designer on social media, they'll have like, oh, I work for this organization. I was previously with this organization.
Yeah.
I think that's stupid. I don't know why they do it. And and instead of debating the topic at hand, he went straight to like, oh, I see you have Optic in your name. You was never an Optic. You never worked for me. I'm like, it's like, why the fuck would you go there? That sounds so petty, right?
Well, because to me, I'm just like, how the fuck do you know every single person in Optic? Like, come on, bro. And sorry, gratuitous cat shot, by the way.
Yeah, and it gave me such a migraine because I'm like, come on, bro. It's like you way too old to be acting like this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not even him. It's with another, with Envy, with Hastro, because he got into it with another player because of pay disputes back in the past, right? Because apparently a lot of players they kind of think of him as a type of owner who sweep things under the rug, so you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so that kind of came to light, and people was like memeing at him and all that stuff, right? And that goes to show that it honestly, that's like, that kind of shows that esports, that these owners used to know is no more. It's not like the old days where you could talk mad shit about another player or a whole team and nothing would happen to you. That doesn't work anymore. Because now you have shareholders, you have sponsors, you have people, because the court of public opinion to me is the highest court in the land, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And it's kind of sad how that goes, right? I mean, hell, and so that's why it blows my mind that a lot of these org owners are acting like this, and don't get me started on the ones that do scummy behavior, like the people at Denial and all that garbage that happened.
God.
Because see, that's another thing though with was and that kind of goes to stand culture because Optic has the most ravenous fans I've ever seen in my life, like called the
Yeah.
Green Wall, and basically they act like K-pop stands, right? They see no wrong
Oh, no.
in the people. Oh yeah,
No,
oh
no, no,
yeah,
no, no, no. K-pop
no, no, no.
stands, no, they rank the highest in what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you just have like violence pills that you take? Like every time you wake up, it's like, violence.
But they're it's getting there though. But well, you know, I say they're more like Beyonce fans. They're in denial about the things that their favorite thing that people who do stuff wrong. They kind of like, well, it's not like that. You don't have the right context. It's kind of like, okay, whatever. You know, like you're, you know, and so like that's why I kind of said to myself, like, I think in 5 years, the best organization is going to be 100 Thieves because I posted on Twitter the other day that because like, you know, because like you see what 100 Thieves does. They have not only like they make videos about certain events, but they have like in-person events, right? They had a freaking Uno tournament. Who the hell does that? That was entertaining. They had a freaking Uno tournament. I shit you not. I think a 10K Uno tournament. They had one.
Is that just for content purposes only though? That's
Yes.
what you got to look at. That as an organization, you've got to know, and this is something that I've started to learn kind of firsthand. Is that your organization is your whole kind of like, obviously I own, for those people that are watching and that don't know me, I am one of the owners of Vulpine Esports, an amateur organization here in the United Kingdom. And we have begun to realize that it is not just your teams that are going to be bringing you in revenue. You have to be able to branch out and do other things, and it is something that here at Vulpine that we have taken a look into very seriously, and we very recently and very successfully hosted a Apex Legends tournament. And I'm going to close this curtain real quick.
Well, I just like how we all universally have sunlight in the background because I'm like, oh,
yeah.
goody.
I mean, it's very rare to get sunshine in the United Kingdom, though. To be fair, so it's that's why I wanted to keep the curtains open as much as possible. But yeah, so we very successfully ran a Apex Legends tournament, and it brought us in that extra kind of support into our organization because we opened it up to colleges and universities as well. So it helped bring in that extra support, and it's those fans that are going to help build the reputation of the organization. And running things, as you just said, Jay, is like the 10K Uno tournament. Obviously, it's going to help because it's something new. It's not been done before, right? As at that big top esports organization level, it's never been done before, holding like a 10K Uno tournament. And people are going to gravitate towards that and go, well, this is something new, we've never seen this before. They're going to gravitate over towards it, and then that's when the adverts start to come in, and this is when they go, well, this is what else we do as well, right? And
yeah,
that's when 100 Thieves then start gaining their extra support, because let's face it, 100 Thieves are doing so much at the moment. They've got their cash compound, they've got their sick merchandise line that they have. They're doing everything, right? And the fact that they're going to be building that extra support, because people will have heard of the name 100 Thieves, but they didn't quite know what it is that they do, or what it is that what games that they're in. So you advertise having this 100K Uno tournament, whatever it was, and then you, as I was saying, you then promote the other stuff that it is that you're doing, and then as a team such as the size of 100 Thieves, people are then going to gravitate towards their merchandise because they like the content that they're producing, and then they take a look at the teams that that they've got as well, and then those fans start to get behind those teams, therefore generating more sales and therefore generating more support for your organization. So it's a really good thing on what 100 Thieves have done, and I really like the route that Nadeshot has taken with 100 Thieves as well. It's new, it's refreshing.
Yeah, 100% agree.
I mean, yeah, because when you think of it, when it comes to fan bases, if you ask me, the biggest fan bases are Optic, FaZe, and 100 Thieves, right? And now, that kind of represents the three routes an organization can take. Either you be like 100 Thieves and be innovative, you could be like Optic and rely purely on your pro teams to do well to gain that fan base, or you can do like FaZe and be all entertainment, go full in on entertainment. So it's kind of like it's like Optic is with pro teams, FaZe is with Consecration, and 100 Thieves is in that sweet spot in the middle. So
absolutely, yeah.
So like I really feel a lot of amateur to semi-pro organizations need to study that, because like you need to understand, okay, where do you feel like you can be best at with building your organization, because
it's brand consistency. That's the problem with a lot of these MIC organizations that pop up. I need to get that trademarked at some point.
I have used that so much since I heard you say that. I have used that term so many different times. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
mean, yeah,
But like... yeah, and I mean, look at shit like with Payday. One of the other ones that I was with not too long ago called High Performance Esports. The guy just fucking ghosted everybody, and he's now doing advertising. And it's like you have these people who are like, I want to do all this shit with esports and brr, 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 and then they, one of the last things we were talking about was with the Call of Duty team. And I was like, okay, well, let me handle them. You go do you, and don't worry about it. Next thing I know, a week later, they're leaving. They won't talk to me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, toodles, and it's just, that's the most infuriating thing. And then people, sit there and twiddle their thumbs, and then you've got other people, God, what was the name of that group? Solified, who they gain the traction that's necessary, and then they, fuck everybody over and just act like it's no big deal. I'm like, you guys, these are people's fucking livelihoods. Yeah. This is their time, their energy into this idea that they believe in with you. Like, the fuck?
Yeah, because I'm not sure if you know this though with Payday, is that the reason behind everybody kind of imploding is that, difference of ideals. Because people who don't know, Payday was owned by 4 people, right? And half of them want to stay organic. They want to do like, okay, well, let's do more for community, have community events and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But the other half want to go straight into like corporate stuff. Like they want to do like sponsored events. They want to do all this stuff, like go to Vegas and LA for all this stuff and work with these companies. I'm like, and we'll see. The thing is that there was issues on both sides, because doing stuff with community is great. However, it gets to a point where you start to stagnate, because like what we did for community is that biggest community events were Fortnite, right? Because we would have like 100+ player organization on the 100+ player participant events, right? And it was very well. The problem is that was all we was known for, because I remember I would try to market like NBA, Madden events, like Street Fighter, and it didn't work because people knew us as Fortnite events.
Well, I don't think it was just that. I think it was the marketing behind it. Because trust me, I had plenty of tea spill about Payday at TwitchCon in 2019. Believe me. And it was glorious. I had to have multiple cups. I was like, damn, bitch. You know. But, yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, well, I can spell one thing that you may or may not know.
It's Silver's an
now-
asshole? I mean, what? Go ahead.
No, kind of like that. Now,
Okay.
if people don't remember, we had a semester series where we had a semester-long events in Overwatch and League of Legends, if I'm not mistaken. No, League of Legends CS:GO, right?
Mhm.
Now, we were going to have the finals of that in Vegas. We were slated to have that in December.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
I think I remember this when I was still a member of Payday,
Yeah.
and that was
Yeah.
very short time.
Yes, and we were like basically getting all this, you know, because like I was the one who kind of put that together because I reached out to a guy called Christian Bishop. He's with Method, and we was like we can all this together. We had the pitch decks and all that, all good to go, right? However, you know, people got a little too greedy and they tried to change things on the fly.
Mm.
Now, you know, so now instead of things being kind of like set in stone, they were like, okay, well, we like this, but you know, we want to do this and this and this, right? And then it got to a point where I didn't even know what the fuck was going on, right? And then like a week later, it was like, oh yeah, we're not having it anymore. Well, what the fuck is this? And I was irritated as all living hell because it's like, and I was like, well, like 2-3 weeks of working my ass off trying to make this shit work, and somehow it fell on its face, and you know, and you know, and see the problem was that people came out of the woodwork saying, oh yeah, don't trust this Christian guy, he's this and he's that and blah 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 blah, and the owners didn't do their research, they just believed hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
that was one of the reasons why it kind of fell on his face, because it's like, oh well, if you know, because you know, the saying goes like, if enough people say the same thing about you, then it must be true, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, and that's what happened, because they believed all these people saying the same thing, and they didn't even think of going to Christian himself and saying, hey, we heard of all this stuff, what's going on with that?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that's one of the reasons why it kind of fell through, because it's like they got like, oh well, you know, we don't want to work with this person. He had this horrible reputation. It's like, no, and it turned out to be exaggerated.
I think,
and it's like, you know, you want to know the shameful thing?
Mm.
When Payday imploded, and then they tried to redo it. They reached out to Christian again to try to work with him again after that.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was like, you shameless motherfuckers.
the problem that I found with Payday is that Payday wanted to do these big things, and I remember, and I try to remember the meetings as much as possible, but you got to remember I had to sit in some of these meetings until about 1-2 o'clock in the morning for me. I was falling asleep at my desk at most times, but I distinctively remember, I think it was Bill that they sent over to, I think it was Vegas, to go to this esports arena.
Yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And because they were scoping it out for this massive tournament that they were running. I can't remember the details of it or whatever it was. And this was a massive esports arena. As I said, it was in Vegas. It was next to the casinos. It was this big pyramid thing.
Oh, the Hyper esports arena.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
But the problem is that they had these really good plans, and they had these really good and elaborate plans, right? But no one really knew who Payday was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
no reputation.
That's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
they were picking up small streamers such as myself, because I am a small streamer. I still am a small streamer, right? And I was averaging maybe 5 to 10 views per stream whilst I was still with Payday. But they weren't reaching out to these big name streamers. And I think if they hadn't been able to pick up this reputation, the problem with that is being able to pick up these big name streamers at that time was Payday really didn't have anything to offer anybody. They were like, when I joined, it was a case of, okay, you can use our name to say that you're kind of a what would now be classed as a content creator for Payday GG, and we'll give you this, this fancy overlay. We'll give you this webcam overlay as well. But that was it. There was no real kind of support. Like you could branch out and you could network with other streamers, but there was no kind of hard support there from the kind of management of Payday. Therefore, because only small streamers were being picked up, it was more of a case that they were trying. I think what they were trying to do was pick up these small streamers in order to get the name out there faster. But instead, what they probably should have done was picked up a bigger named streamer rather than all the. I think there was 15, maybe to 25 streamers of us at the time. I
think so, yeah.
I remember those meetings being super stacked. But if they had picked up like 1 or 2 big streamers, then they probably could have blown up, right? Because they would have had that backing from the support of these big streamers and been able to get their name out there a bit more. But because
I mean, yeah, and the thing is that because I kind of work closely with owners and all that stuff, right? And the thing is that the thing is that with staff we were kind of stressed thin because we like we want to do all this stuff, but we didn't have the manpower to make it work. Because I started out as a tournament director when I first came in June of 2017, and then they came to me and said, hey, if you don't mind, we need like kind of help with marketing and whatnot, right? That was before Bill came in, right? So I was kind of doing marketing stuff. And then I kind of came to them and said, hey, since I think it was Night Bomber who was doing tournament stuff at that
God,
right?
that kid.
Or I think so. And so I was like, well, then it was like, okay, well, they need help with human resources, all that stuff, right? So yeah. So the thing is that, and the thing is that when Bill came in, he had a lot of good ideas, but he never listened to them.
No,
Never listened.
Well, right. Well, that circles back to like the content creation. Some of the other things I could have done is like if they had a big enough streamer to be their content manager to go like, okay, well, hey, look, this is the formula that works for me. Do this, 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 and this. Yeah. And plus, on top of that, content creation changed hands so many fucking times. Nobody knew. Like, hell, even when they asked me to do it, I was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I put a game on my screen and hit go live. That's it.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, I think for me, it's like I offered to help out because I was wanting to learn all this stuff,
right.
So, and now we may not know after Payday imploded. I think it was Justin and Aaron. They worked with a cryptocurrency organization called FGC Arena because they did an event in Vegas some years ago, and it went over pretty well.
Right.
And so, however, they failed to realize 2 things. One, players don't give a shit about cryptocurrency at that time in 2018. They didn't care. They didn't even know what it was. And secondly, just like with Payday, the reputation FGC Arena had was no more. The reputation basically kind of went like, it was like a flash in the pan.
Right.
And now what you guys may not know is that we try to make FGC Arena work and all that stuff, and and then one day Aaron he just ghosted everybody. He just like one day he just said fuck it, and he's like, he came to me, he said, you know what, I'm tired of this shit. I feel like I'm not being listened to, things like that. I want to do this, but but the guys in the cryptocurrency, they're like your Wall Street types,
Yeah.
And so like Aaron tried to make it. He tried to put his opinion in, And one thing you meant to know about Justin, he's kind of non-confrontational, very non-confrontational, and so that's why Aaron was kind of like the main muscle the of the team when we looked at FC Arena. And eventually he got sick of it. He's like, well, you know what? Fuck this. Not listening to me. I'm trying to tell them what they need to do. They act like they know more than me, things like that. He just said, fuck it. He left, gave ownership to me and Board. And he just like, the last time I talked to him, he moved to a whole nother state. I think and I think he's on his own now. I think so because I think he kind of like I think he got upset with the way his life was going. He was kind of like reset his life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I try to talk with Justin many times about what we needed to do because, like, could we try to tell him, like, look, NC Arena can work, but we're going too fast. We're going too fast. We're trying to make things work, and we try to tell him, like, look, we need to tell people to slow down. It's not going to work as well as you want it to. But Justin, being a non-confrontational person he is, basically said, hey, let's trust the process. And I was trying to tell him the process isn't working the way you think it is. You
Yeah.
know? And I got so pissed off one day because the Crystal Cursey guy basically said, they basically blamed us for not making it work. And I was like, we can't make it work if we don't have a product we can sell. Because
Exactly.
the website, because the website was incomplete as hell, it was buggy as all living shit. And the guy who was developing the website, he lives in India, which is a way in his time frame is different than ours,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, he was getting paid peanuts compared to what a real developer should be paid. He was getting paid peanuts, so basically, we were not his first priority,
Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, Jay, we gotta put a pin in the rant, as much as I love it when you go on a tangent, because we are out of time for today.
Party will come next week.
Your party will come next week.
Oh, yeah. Well, I gotta get a bigger teacup now. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. This one's gonna overflow. Just know that.
I mean, I mean, I've been drinking out of this today, so I think I need to double the size.
All right. Well, gentlemen, as always, it is a pleasure having you on here where we get to yell at clouds and kids to get off our lawn. And I'm going to have to clip Bill saying get off my lawn just so it can play in the background.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, gentlemen, like I said, it has been a pleasure. And we will see you kids in the next episode.
We will.
Toodles.